There's a gentleman that came up to ask me a question, and if you notice during the classes or during the breaks, I don't answer questions, I don't really talk to people. There's a number of reasons I do that is, oh, some money. This is nice. Paper. Is that, not you guys, but there's some people that like to pay teachers kiss-ass pet, and they come up and they want to ask the teacher stuff like that. Well, I used to hate guys who did that, so that's just, I just need to see Jane about that one. I'm so pissed off about it. Now, every time I feel some kind of reaction to it, I know it's something I've not quite resolved in my soul, you know. You know, some kid wants to go ask the teacher information. That's their choice. But I'd be in the back of the room going, teachers. I don't know why they've kicked me out of school so many times. But the other part of it is one of the lessons here from Fuller, and I've really taken, you know, his 10 steps, and there's been a lot more to it, took it to heart, is I like to do more with less. So if one person has a question, then if I answer one question at a time, I'm not effective. So I want to be efficient versus more than anything else. So I'll answer a question for a lot of people, because if one person has it, probably 10 people have the same question. So that's why the gentleman that came up to ask me a question, I said, you know, I don't really answer them during breaks because it's just a waste of time. And besides, I'm taking a break. Okay, so that's the reason why. So this morning, we're going to spend probably the next hour or two just answering any questions, clearing up, just bringing it all home right now, okay? So are there any questions about anything we've covered so far? Anything up here, anything in notes, anything? Yes, Jillian? And you know I'm not going to answer it, right, Jillian?
Pardon?
You know I'm not going to answer it.
I know, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
Jillian's been around me for so long. I mean.
Yeah. Okay, on the receipt, with the flip chart right there, Robert, this says barter, commodity, receipt, fractional reserve, and fiat. Now,
Which one?
The flip chart that says barter, commodity, receipt.
Oh, right, thank you.
Fractional reserve, and fiat.
Right.
Now, the receipt part of this was when we went on the gold standard. So we were accountable for...
No.
No?
No. That's a good question, though. Not necessarily. So, question, what is receipt money? Yeah. Receipt money is very simply, years ago, let's say you lived in, you live in California, I live in Arizona. I had gold here, and so I'd get a receipt, and I'd give it to, let's say, Robert over there. Robert would give me a receipt. He had my gold on hand, and I would just go across to California and give you the receipt while the gold sat in his place. So it could have been a receipt for anything.
And this was my thought process. Then when we go to fractional reserve, would that be equivalent to Bretton Woods?
What's?
When we go from receipt to fractional reserve, would the fractional reserve piece be like Bretton Woods?
No.
No?
Just don't, yes and no. Who knows what fractional reserve is? Who would care to say what fractional reserve is?
Fractional reserve, I guess, would be the example that was given. I think it was Mario. But let's say someone's storing gold in a storage place and they hand them a receipt, and then it's just sitting there, and he decides to issue another receipt. He's just fractionalized that gold. And if he hands another one, it's fractionalized again into 3 parts.
It's a very important, I mean, I'm glad you brought this question up, because it's probably very good. Give me a hand for that, thank you. What he's talking about is really kind of at the core of the problem of everything right now. So what he's saying is that, let's say I give Robert $1 million of gold, and he gives me a receipt for $1 million, and he's sitting there going, you know. So then, you come by and you say, can you give me a receipt? And you have no money in there.
Got it.
But he says, here's a receipt. And so he knows as long as I don't come back, you're okay, and he's okay. Does that make sense, you guys here? They know everybody's okay, and the reality is nobody likes to lug that stuff around, gold and silver, or I got 2 cattle, man, 2 cattle, or 5 pounds of tobacco. So they just wanted their receipt. And so what the banker turned out to be this guy, Robert. And he understood that we don't come back for it. So he could just lend it out. So the system became by law, and fiat means by law.
Okay.
By law means this is the amount that you could lend out. So till about 1950, it was about 15%.
Okay.
So he could lend out 85% more. Today, if it's a checking account, a demand deposit, I think you have to keep, how much, Michael, do you have to keep on demand deposit? 10%. But if it's savings deposit, what is it? 0.
Wow. Okay.
Does that make sense, you guys here?
Yes.
If you just dump your money in savings, they can basically lend it out ad infinitum.
Okay.
But if it's a checking account, they got to cover 10%.
Okay. And then my last question was about fiat.
Wait, let that settle in. Because you're talking about the core of the problem. They're lending money they don't have. And the Federal Reserve can print money it doesn't have.
Got it.
Please discuss that, because, Jillian, thanks very much, because you hit right on the core of the issue. Printing money you don't have, and lending money you don't have. Now it makes some people crazy, because if you're honest, you won't understand it. If you're a crook, you're going, hey, it's a license to print money, okay? Thank you, Jillian. Big hand for Jillian. Thank you. So please, that's why that question, barter, commodity, receipt, fractional reserve, fiat, crucial to understand. So please, and keep it simple. Please don't, you get it simple, you'll be okay. You start going beyond that, you'll go nuts. Because it became, I'll take it one more step. So let's say Robert gives me a receipt and I give it to Stuart. Stuart can then lend out on that again. So there's nothing there, there's nothing there. It all is okay, as long as you don't want it back.